Hey guys, welcome to chapter 5 and 6, which is supply curves and shifts for the economics IGCSE.
Hi, everybody.
First of all, we start strong with the two definitions of supply. Supply is quantity producers are willing to offer for a sale at a given price. The law of supply is the proportionate relationship between price and quantity supplied. This is seen on the graph when price increases from P1 to P2. Okay, at P1, the quantity is Q1, right? When price increases, this causes a proportionate shift to the quantity supplied. So, when price increases, quantity supplied also increases. Hence why it's a proportionate relationship. A supply curve is a line on a graph which shows how much of a good producers are willing and able to supply at different prices. Differences on the actual supply curve itself is due to changes in price. This part here basically just explains why, in a way. Not that it's really important. I just added that for extra. Obviously, businesses want to maximize profit, and more businesses join the market, especially if it's competitive. Another thing that's important to note is fixed supply. For fixed supply, the graph is exactly the same, but obviously the supply is fixed. So no matter how much the price changes, the supply is exactly the same. For example, let's say like a football stadium fits 45,000 people. If all 45,000 seats are filled and every single person's attending and not selling their ticket, then no matter how much money someone offers, they can't add more seats. And yeah. Now, similar to the demand, factors that shift the supply curve. For this one, my mnemonic is knits. So yeah, if you guys have seen that one lady on TikTok, that's pretty much what it's about. If you don't get the reference, then it's fine. Make up your own mnemonic. That just is a memorable mnemonic for me personally. Next we've got the cost of production. Cost of production is basically how much it costs to produce something. Duh. If cost increases, then it's less profitable for the firm to actually be producing the good in large amounts. So because of that, they decrease the quantity supplied. However, if costs do decrease, quantity supplied will increase because it's more profitable. The second point is technology. Technological advances in general, they result to increased efficiency. And because increased efficiency results to increased productivity, this will result to higher units of output. Also, technology decreases the cost of production. Why? Because you've got lower wages. Because you don't have to pay employees to sit and work per hour, minimum wage, whatever. So technology, all you're paying for is literally electricity and maintenance. So that's very beneficial for firms, not so much for the workers because then unemployment will increase. Next, we've got indirect taxes. Indirect taxes are taxes on spending. So when taxes increase, the cost of production increases for obvious reasons. Indirect taxes, there's different types of indirect taxes. I don't really remember what chapter it is, but we've got indirect taxes and direct taxes. Some taxes are directed towards the firms, and it's a way that the government actually uses to battle externalities, which is in chapter 13. But basically, taxes increase cost of production if they increase, right? So increased cost of production, we saw above that it's less profitable, and so because of that, quantity supplied will decrease, and vice versa. Next, we've got subsidies. Subsidies, the definition is basically money given by the government in the form of a grant to businesses in order to decrease cost of production, mainly, depending what situation the subsidy is given in. Mainly, this is the whole point, to decrease the cost of production and encourage producers to increase quantity supplied, especially if it is a beneficial externality. Okay. And then natural factors, natural disasters, like we saw before, obviously are affected by floods, droughts, things like that, especially if the product that is being produced is in agriculture, for example, food, is greatly impacted by natural factors. So just keep that in mind. And that is the entirety of chapter 5 and 6.
Jumping like